Senator Ron Wyden's asking the Justice Department to investigate how foreign countries could be spying on your phone data through your push notifications. Wyden's office has spent years investigating this issue, and now they want to take it to the DOJ and plead with the DOJ, please take action. I've been talking to you about it for years. Talk about how this works.
This is a really kind of complicated, yet if you're a foreign government, it's actually a bit of a brilliant scheme here.
It is.
Because we're talking about in every country, essentially the public airwaves.
Mm-hmm.
So when your phone sends you a notification, hey, your game is ready for you to play, a reward is ready, your map says you got to take a turn, those are push notifications that come through your phone. But by doing that, they're of course using this public space, these public airwaves, whatever. So foreign governments are allowed to say, oh,
We want access to
well, this is coming across our towers, this is coming across our signals. We as the government have every right to see what's happening. And Ron Wyden's office said in a report last week, they said, listen, they're using this to get your messages because your messages come across through a push notification. They're getting emails, they're getting your location data, they're getting everything you do because they can access these notifications.
And Apple and Google, they have the information, but they're unwilling to share it because they know where that goes.
Right.
This is the very tip of the iceberg. They can't share this information. That's why they're refusing to do it. That's why Wyden is trying to demand, tell us who has been affected by this. You have the information. We want to know who the people are, right?
Yeah, and doesn't this remind you a lot of, because we were doing segments back during the FISA years where you had the AT&T and you had these other cell carriers say, oh yeah, we've given up data on American citizens, but we can't tell you who because that's just a breach of confidence.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing today. It's just different people doing different things for different countries.
I mean, the tech industry has just become so arrogant. They just
really have.
become so arrogant. That's why I'm so excited about the lawsuits we're bringing against them, social media lawsuits. The stuff we're finding already is appalling. And what the DOJ won't do and what the government won't do, we will do. We'll do in a courtroom. And we will ask the questions and take discovery. I just don't understand why Wyden has for years told the Department of Justice, this is serious, man. Pay attention. They won't do it.
Wyden has been great on the whole range of issues with big tech.
Yeah,
He's one of the few that's always been solid. He was solid on the surveillance breaches and breach of trust on all that. And he is still just the loudest voice, usually one of the only voices sounding the alarm.
There's one more I read that's on this bill. I forgot who it was, but another Democrat. And of course, there's no Republicans coming up and saying, yeah, we ought to do something about this. Health insurance companies are working alongside drug companies to make sure that you can't get a good deal on your prescription drugs. The process is complicated and it's very shady. The end result is that you pay through the roof for the cost of pharmaceuticals. Now, here's what most people watching this would have never even heard of a PBM, okay? We're handling the insulin case. It's where PBMs are setting drug prices, and they're doing it through price gouging. It's antitrust. As a matter of fact, I've got a book coming out in this following December about this very issue. It's in the series. But it's focusing on. It's fiction, but it's focused on the heart of the problem. PBMs came up in the 60s, and they were supposed to be there to protect consumers, to make sure that pharmaceutical company doesn't overcharge. Now, that PBM is taking kickbacks, so they want the price of the pharmaceutical to be as high as possible. They have 3 different avenues of kickbacks. One is just when they set the price. They put them on a list, right? If you have your pharmaceutical on a list, you can sell it. These people can keep you off the list. And so it's a damn extortion. We'll put your expensive product on the list, but we want a kickback. They're literally taking, they call them rebates, but they're kickbacks.
Rebates. These are pharmacy benefit managers, the PBMs.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't know, and the Lever did a beautiful job of explaining this.
By the way, let me. If people always say, I can't find the news, go to the lever.
Yeah, it's
This
wonderful.
is an extraordinary source of news. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No,
but go ahead.
it needed to be said.
Yeah.
But so you have these PBMs that are now increasingly actually being owned by the insurance companies. Now, they used to be kind of this independent group. The insurance companies are here, your PBMs, and then your drug companies.
Check
The
check and balance.
Right. The PBMs were kind of the intermediary, saying, okay, for insurance, you have to cover this. Drug companies, you got to cover it at this price. Everybody's happy. But the insurance company said, well, what if we just owned the PBMs?
Right.
Let's just cut out the middleman. We create our own system here. So, as you said, they now own the PBMs, and the PBMs are going to the drug companies and saying, hey, we're going to have to drop your drug.
Right.
But, if you come off the price a little bit of what we'll cover and you give us the difference.
Yeah. The PBM said
Right.
it's extortion. It's nothing less than, they call it rebates. This is only a rebate. No, it's a kickback. You say to the pharmaceutical company, you're not going to be on the formulary list. We're not even going to recommend that your drug be able to be sold in these various pharmacies like CVS or whoever. And the people making those decisions also own the pharmacies, right?
Yeah.
So we're saying we want the most expensive drug. If you got a generic or you have 100 times the cost of the generic, we want that expensive one on the formulary list because the PBM gets a kickback and the pharmacy makes more money by selling the more expensive drug, right?
Yeah, so it's, just to give kind of a little bit of an example here, say you've got a drug that Big Pharma would charge you $500 for if you didn't have insurance. Well, if you don't have insurance, you're not going to be able to afford that medication.
Mm-hmm.
So the insurance company says, listen, we will cover it and the cost to the consumer will be $100. So you're coming off $400. In exchange, we're going to get the rebate of $50 a prescription. That comes directly to me at the PBM.
Right.
So you're actually paying, $150 instead of the $5, but we get the difference there.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's how this scheme works. And as you said too, another part of it is the generics, because they'll go to the drug companies and say, listen, we got a $2 generic over here. We could put that on the list and it's going to be
PBM
free.
says, no, we're not putting you on the formulary. We
Yeah.
want the one that costs 100 times that because we make more money.
Yeah.
And there are no regulations. The FTC has done nothing about this since the 1960s. And it's evolved, and it is a mob control. I mean, it is
really-
matter of fact, in the book I'm writing, I actually have the Irish mob moving into this business because it's a way for them to make big money and never go to jail for committing the most awful crimes. And so, but the point, until somebody takes a look at it, this is going to continue. And doctors will tell you, this is part of the problem. I can't even give my patient a medicine that works for them because in the middle of them taking that medicine, I'll get a notice saying, you can't give him that medicine anymore. He has to buy the more expensive one.
Yep.
That doesn't work, by the way.